I've still got plenty.
Do you remember your first heartbreak?
I don't know. So you're talking specifically relationship heartbreak, not like catastrophic circumstance of like some other thing that could break your heart over whatever. Like say you move away or you have like
or like what happened to Kevin Ogar.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like those could also
not
be
that kind.
Heartbreak. But okay, so specifically relationship heartbreak.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had like a bad one. And I haven't had a whole lot of long relationships that were long enough for it to be devastating.
How old are you?
I'm 27. So, I mean, yeah, I would say I haven't had anything drastic, but I mean, that said, like, had my current relationship, if that were to end, that would be devastating and heartbreaking.
It would.
Yeah.
You'd cry.
Yeah, 100%.
And you do weird stuff like maybe stalk her or...
Probably not. Probably not.
What if she was like, do you do therapy now?
Do I do therapy?
Yeah. Like
do we do therapy?
Yeah, you and her? Like,
No.
do you have
No.
You have a therapist?
No. I think she does therapy on me. To me. She does therapy to me.
So she's the one.
I would like to think so. But we're still young. We'll see. We're currently living apart because of school, so it's going to be great once we can move back together in a year or so here and then spend a few years full-time together, which is nice. Like currently we only get a few weeks.
Oh, she looks like an adult.
She is an adult. She's more adult than I am.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was going to say, yeah.
But
she looks like
I run around and exercise. Like she's adulting way better than I am.
What does she do?
She's in med school.
Oh, that's right. You said she was in school.
Yeah. So,
have you ever lived together?
Yeah, we actually met and went to school together in Montreal. So we lived together for a little while there. Well, we lived like in the same building, and we haven't actually lived together. Over the course of the summer, when I'm training for the games, like we'll live together for a
So
few
there's
months.
details you don't know about your relationship, like who will change the sheets, will you shit with the door open, like things. That
I think we've kind of crossed most of those bridges, yeah.
You know, even though you never lived with her, you know.
But like we've lived together for 2-3 months at a time, kind of thing in the summer, and she's gonna go on like clerkship work rotations and stuff in hospitals this coming up here soon. So and the next year, so that'll be a bit more challenging because currently we're able to maybe once every month and a little bit, I can run away or she can run away for 3, 4, or 5 days, and we'll just like relax, have a little mini vacation and catch up and spend some time together. But that'll get a bit more challenging. She just started I think when she started in med school, she started doing it. She was resistant to do it.
It took you podiuming twice to get her to do it.
And she's resistant, and you're not really an ambassador of the sport either, I'd say. Ambassador of the program. You're not you're a hater, but you're not.
Okay. Yeah.
You're not like
I don't disagree with you, I guess. I'm not like I don't take every chance I can to like plug CrossFit and talk someone's ear off about it. I try not to because I feel like that's one of the negative stereotypes about CrossFit. So
I'd like to see more of that from you.
Yeah.
So how did she end up doing it? Because I can't see you being like, hey baby, you need to be doing this if you want to live until you're 100 and your AC1 levels and your sugar levels. You need to learn how to eat and blah blah blah, like I do to everyone.
No, I would
life.
never try to tell her how to exercise or what she should be doing to be healthy.
Smart.
But she actually was an endurance athlete, like a high level cross country skier, like national team kind of athlete, and did triathlons and stuff for a long time. But when she got into school and started studying medicine, she couldn't. You just can't put the hours into that. Like she can't afford to go for a 3-hour run and train multiple different things like that. So she was just looking for a kind of an hour-long class. Show up, they'll tell you what to do. You put your work in, you go home, and it takes up less space, but you get all the sort of exercise you need in that time frame. So CrossFit was just a good. Fit that.
Did she consult
thing.
you?
She told me that she was gonna start doing it. She's like, I was looking at joining this gym.
Did you try to talk her out of it?
Great. No, I didn't try to talk her out of it.
I'm just looking for a baseline.
She doesn't like to.
I think it's a legitimate question.
She doesn't like to do CrossFit with me though. Like in general, she likes and she'll go do her classes and go back. But when I visit, I'll join her for classes, but I don't think she loves it.
Yeah,
because it just like kind of turns into a circus sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think it's healthy for everybody. It's the right choice to work out with your significant other. We've had this topic tackled here before.
Wait. You don't think CrossFit's the right word?
No. I don't think it's necessary for you to have to work out with your significant other. Whereas people have been on this podcast and they're like, oh, it's the best thing for our relationship.
It is.
She's a trooper though. Like when she's come to visit a couple times, training for regionals, I'll just I have my programming that I'm doing, and she wants to do something, and there's no class going on, so she'll just kind of scale back whatever I'm doing and work out with me and kind of do the same stuff, which is awesome. Like she's a trooper, and she's likes the challenge and is competitive by nature, but I think she doesn't want to step into that world really as much.
What is it exactly she doesn't like about working out with you?
I think that I don't know, actually. I think that I'm really good at it, and it frustrates her that she can't beat me at it. We have a competitive relationship.
Is she a redhead?
Yeah.
But in that other photo, she wasn't.
Yeah, sure she was.
Let me see that other one. Go back. That's a great picture of her right there, by the way.
Yeah.
I like her more as a hike. Yeah, that's red hair.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a redhead?
Yeah, I'm kind of a hybrid.
Yeah.
I feel like it depends. Sometimes in the summer, it gets really light, but
your sideburns are red, and the top of your
my
hair.
beard too. But I have white mustache, eyebrows, white,
pubes.
Just depends. Red.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fire crotch.
Oh yeah.
Are your ladies?
The abuse I took. Let me tell you.
Are your ladies' pubes?
You know.
Do people have blonde pubes?
I don't know.
There's no real representative here.
I
could go ask Heber.
I mean, we do have Google Images. I mean,
yeah, maybe might want to.
We'll save that one for later.
I want to incognito that one.
Let's do that off the air and bring that topic back for the next show. So she. Can we go back to that other picture? I like looking at her hair when it's red.
See, I like this picture more.
So she does CrossFit now. When you wake up in the morning, you have a certain regimen that you have to get through, right? That's what your workout looks like. Here's your pile of shit you have to do today.
Yeah, but for me, it's not just surrounding my workout schedule. I have a pile of shit that I have to do in the day, period, and I have to figure out where training fits, where school fits, where relationships fit, where things like that, where all the pieces fit in the day. And I generally try to organize it the day before so that I can just march through the day. I know exactly where I'm going and where I'm headed to at all times.
It is like that though, right? You're like, okay, my first class is at 9 a.m. Then I have a meeting with this student group at 1, and then I have my girlfriend's flying into town at 7. I got to pick her up from the airport, so that gives me these hours to go to the gym, and I'm gonna have to eat. So it's like that every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you have a pretty fixed schedule, right? So once you get a couple days in check, you can just start following that pattern?
Not really. My school's actually random because a lot of our required courses go in small groups.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone has to do this course, but my lab might be Monday at 5 this week, and next week it's a different time. And generally the ones fall at the same slots, but you have a bunch of different classes that fall in random slots throughout the week. And this week is different from next week is different from the following week. And there's subtle differences. Some things are pretty consistent, but that's why you just have to kind of keep on it.
Every day.
Because some classes repeat every 2 weeks, and some every however often, and some are only vary once a term. So you have to. I just have to check my schedule and plan my next day then the night before and know where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do that day.
What's the wild card that always throws your days off? Is there something that's okay, that thing's always in my life and that thing could always come and
See, I would interpret that the opposite way. The wild card to me would be the thing that's not always in my day or always in my life, and that I have to that I have to not, I can't anticipate, and that it might just rear out and you have to figure it out.
Let me give you an example. So I wake up this morning. My plan is to be out of the house by 7:15. Everything is going on target. At 7:10, I see one of the babies is walking around the house and he's got a shit in his pants.
Yeah.
So then I change that shit, and then I notice that's woken up the other baby, and now you know what I mean. And now all of a sudden there's just stuff. Really, yeah, there's stuff piling in. Okay, I'm not going to work out this morning. Mm-hmm. But you can't have that, right?
Well, why not?
Because you have to you put things in your life that don't give you that flexibility.
Yeah, but I think that you need to be able to give yourself a break at a certain point. Some of my classes, for example, I don't go to very many lectures at school. If there's a lecture that is not mandatory, there's a 99% chance I won't be there.
And how do you get the information?
Most resources nowadays are available online through your school websites and things like that.
So you
like
read
you have
it.
an online account. Yeah. I'll like, for example, when I travel here, like I did an assignment in the airport on the way here. I did one in the morning the other day. Like I can find time to do the work, and I do a lot of independent learning. But if it's just if it's just a question of me physically being in a lecture for 2 hours when I can maybe go to the library and knock out that material in half the time, like I'll do that, and now I've bought myself an hour of extra time that I can put into training or put into whatever else I need to do. So a lot
Are
of
you a
that
good
stuff,
student?
I'm a pretty good student.
Like you're gonna pass. What you're going to? What kind of school are you going to?
Chiropractic school.
And so you're gonna pass.
Yeah.
What's
yeah,
your GPA?
I haven't looked in a while, but it'd be like 3.5 or something like that.
Humble brag.
So
Bad.
it's gone down since first year. Since like CrossFit's taken up a little more room, and like I generally will build my year around the first September to January. I focus a lot more on school, and it's the off season, and I'll treat it as such. And then when it gets time to prepare for the Open, the regionals, the games, my CrossFit bubble takes up more space, and my school bubble gets encroached upon a little bit. But I've build myself a buffer in that first bunch of months, so that if I need to take a hit in an exam or something like that,
You've got enough.
I've got a good enough standing that like it's fine. I can afford to like not cramp for this exam as hard. And
Sounds like
spend
your
some extra
day
time.
is like constantly varied, and I feel like going to the L1 would like kind of teach you more about that.
Yes,
and,
good,
like, how to
nice,
grasp it,
Matt,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just a
I mean-
random glancing thought.
Maybe I've already figured it out and I don't need to do it.
When you posted this picture here, we're looking at your Instagram. It says, after a long weekend of fitnessing, it's back to reality. There's a lot of work to do. A week from exams. Coffee machine is working overtime. How was it hard picking this photo to post?
October.
Was that difficult?
I don't even know what I would have been doing then.
Well, you're studying the limbic system.
I know, but I'm trying to think of what the long weekend of fitness thing would have been. I probably was competing somewhere, but October 2016
June, July, August, October.
would have been like, I don't know, some sort of off-season event. But yeah, I'm doing neuroanatomy, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, see, so I look at something like that, and I don't know if I could self-administer my education there. I think I would have to go to a lecture for it.
But doesn't he come across really smart to you? Like when you were just sitting here talking to him, where you're like, okay, he's smarter than your average bear.
Yeah, intelligent. I mean, yeah, as much. Yeah.
Do you want us to
Sure.
think that about you, that you're smart? Do you try to give off the image that you're smart?
No, I don't know. I actually feel like I often do the opposite.
Really?
And I don't know. I just feel like it's not. People don't like when you make them feel stupid or like. And there's a difference between coming off as smart and like putting people down with your intelligence.
Completely.
But I don't know. Like I feel like sometimes it's overwhelming to people if you just start launching a bunch of big words out and concepts that are people don't really understand, and it doesn't serve the purpose of just general conversation. So I don't know. I hang out with a bunch of people who just exercise or whatever. In this context, it's not valuable for me to sound smart. So I don't know. You just bro down for a little bit, like it's fine.
Don't dumb yourself down for anyone. When you finished the Open last year, you finished in 11th place.
Yeah,
Do you know who you were tied with?
Rich, I believe.
You were tied with Rich Froning.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh.
Does that tickle your fancy?
I mean, I don't know. Those sort of open standings are not very representative, I don't think. Yeah, it's cool. Like it's fun. Metrics are fun and data's fun, but like I don't know. It's just I take it for what it is. Like,
Did you do the open workouts more than once?
I did the first one and the second one twice.
Why?
Well, the first one I had to repeat because I had my arm touching my leg in the open announcement, and so I just had a big penalty, and it didn't make sense for me to not redo it. And then the second one, I actually thought I could win worldwide, so I just redid it on like the Monday. Someone in my gym was doing it, and I was like, screw it, like I'll go for it. And I ended up 1 rep short, and I had a faster tie break time, but I was just blackout for like the last bunch of bar
What
muscle-ups.
was that? That was the dumbbell.
The clean and lunge one.
Yeah. Okay.
With the total bar and bar muscle up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Fikowski got me.
So you had a feeling that you could get the fastest time in the world on an open workout.
Yeah.
That must be a really trippy feeling.
I
Or
don't
is it
know.
just normal for you?
No, it's not normal for me. Like I feel like in general, even say at the regionals, I had the fastest time on the total bar, handstand walk, kettlebell one, and I feel like generally it's other people who look at it and they're like, that's a really good one. You crush that sort of stuff. Like, oh shit. And now there's more pressure on you. I feel like I generally feel more pressure for events that I feel like I can perform very well on, because if it's an event that you're like, maybe a middle of the pack and you do very well, it's extra. That's all bonus.
But you saw this and you did it again because you're like, hey, I can be the best out of 400,000 or 387,000 people that signed up.
Yeah, I did it the first time and overpaced it and had still a very good score. So I did it on Friday, I think, and then spoke to some people over the course of the weekend and thought like maybe I'll redo it. It's not really worth it. I tend to try to not redo them if I can help it.
Is it frowned upon? Is it not cool to redo workouts?
No, it's fine. I mean, in this day and age, you have to do what you have to do to get through to the next round. And I mean, with certain regions cutting back on the amount of qualifiers and that sort of stuff, there's no like whatever. Do what you have to do. For me, I tend to focus a little bit less on the open compared to the next stage. So if it means like I did a full training session after this open workout, and like if you're gonna try to continue to progress and prepare for the regionals during the open, it might be just not wise to keep beating the crap out of yourself on an open workout, because they take a piece of your soul with them. Like they're hard, they're designed to be that way. You have to really dig deep to do them. The only exceptions are the workouts that have the weight ladder in the last couple of years that finish and have a definitive finish line. You can sort of like walk out of those ones and be okay. But anything that's an Amrap, like if you're okay afterwards, you should do it again and try a little harder, because that's not the point, right?
You're not supposed to, yeah. When you see this group of people who go from the open to the regionals, are you happy with that? Are you happy with the test? And do you feel like it aligns with the regionals? And then when you see this group of people who does well at the regionals move on and go to the games, are you happy with this whole continuity and this whole process? And do you see it as being like perfect?
Well, I mean, the easiest answer is that nothing's perfect. Like I think even the games, like the test isn't perfect. There's always things everyone would probably love to add or take away one thing or another. I mean, probably in a perfect world, you'd keep adding things until it was just an infinite test where you can't actually do that, right? It's not possible. But in years past, the open to me has been a test of aerobic capacity and endurance, and then the regionals tested your skills and ability to handle some heavier weight, and then the games test your athleticism. So anyone who makes it to the games has the aerobic capacity, the endurance, has the skills, has the weights, and now it's just like that fifth element of being able to adapt quickly and learn on the fly, and whose backgrounds lend themselves to various things, how well you manage competition stress over 13, 14, 15 events in 5 days. And that was the difference in the tests. So it's changed a little bit. I mean, the regional in the last year was more games-esque. And
what do you mean? What?
Just the addition of odd objects like the sandbag, like having the weight vest involved in the first event, like that sort of stuff has generally been preserved and saved for the games. And now you see that starting to bleed over into the regional. So,
but you can't just call the open if you just call the open being this test of aerobic and endurance, capacity, then do you think that we're leaving someone behind who could place well at the games?
Maybe, but then maybe they don't get through the second test. Like the point is to make it to the games, you need all the elements. And traditionally, I would say the games athletes who perform the best consistently are athletes who have a really strong athletic background and adapt very well under pressure and have good competition skills and whatnot. And it's not the aerobic capacity, endurance, skills, strength, whatever, that plays that X factor. It's a different thing. So regardless, like if you...
They must be I just think that the overlap must be so heavy in terms of the aerobic and the strength, because when you look at the finals of the games, I mean, the same people who are finishing top 10 in the open are finishing top 10 in the games, right? I mean, not perfectly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're right. And it is, like I said, and again, I said like traditionally that's how I viewed the tests. And I mean, if you're stronger...
You think if he took his L1, he would view it a little differently?
I mean, it's the first thing on my mind.
We'll never know.
Anyway, go on, Patrick. No, we'll know. He's going to take it. He's not crazy. He's just stubborn. He's not crazy.
I will probably forget about it in the next 2 hours. I don't know. I mean, like the stronger you are, obviously, certain workouts become more aerobic because you don't have to stand and wait. You don't have to rest between different lifts. Like a workout, like in years past, those snatch ladders with 30 reps at whatever weight and 20 reps at whatever weight. Now, all of a sudden, the 135 barbell is super aerobic for some person, and for another person, that's damn near a 1 rep max snatch.
Right.
So that workout is no longer aerobic. But I mean, like I said, it's starting to change a little bit with, like I said, some elements of what would have traditionally been more of gamesy stuff going into the regionals. And I mean, the regionals does have super aerobic tests. There's no doubt. This year there was basically in 6 events there was 2 long time domains, 2 middle, and 2 short. And so it was like you covered your time domains, and the longer ones are traditionally more aerobic, and you have to be more able to have steady state aerobic capacity, whereas the event 6 and event 2 were high power output, just like high octane, who can just hammer the gas for 2 minutes.
As you're saying these events, is that true about those events, or you're saying hypothetically?
No, that's true about those events.
That's amazing, because I don't even know what events those are. Do you know the entire?
He did them. He competed there.
I know you know the events. Like if I say what was event 8, you know what it is
At regionals, or I mean,
at the
never
games.
been event
At the
8.
games.
I mean, I would figure it out. I think event 8 would be like Saturday morning. Would have been Strongman Sphere probably.
No, that was Sunday morning, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, so Saturday morning was
Okay.
Sunday morning was Madison Triplet. Saturday morning was Strongman Sphere.
Oh, yeah, because the announcement was the night before, right?
Yeah. Boom, nailed it.
No lecture hall for me.
The mass start events are my personal favorite, just because it's fun watching you guys all lined up there, and it just looks like a clusterfuck. What is that like up there? Let's like
it is
specifically.
clusterfuck. I'm
like
too
specifically
polite.
this
I'm too
year.
polite for a mass start. Like it hurt me this year. It hurt me last year, and I need to be more aggressive with stuff, which is funny because some of the sports, like I used to play lacrosse, and I love like battling for a ball. Like one-on-one competition is fun, and I like that challenge. But in the context of racing, I haven't done enough mass start racing that I don't love it, and it sort of, I try to find my own route and be as unimpeded as I can. It is exciting, like there's no doubt, but it's messy,
Chaotic.
So
messy.
in lacrosse or in sports where it's okay to be aggressive, it's like formally explained that it's okay to be aggressive.
Yeah.
But here, where do they tell you? Like can you go back to the beginning of that again?
I mean, like you're technically not allowed to impede someone's progress or like hit them. Like we would probably get in trouble for that, right? But people do.
Can we just see the lineup? When do they tell you where to stand at all?
No, you just kind of jostle.
Like right here, can we pause it? Like, how does Noah know to be right in the center? And like, how are Matt, Fraser, and Josh right next to you? Like, look at that. There's a whole tier of guys in the front, and then there's a tier in the back. Like look at Fikowski. He's in the back.
Yeah, he was probably smart to do that. I think that probably part of it is that some people want to be at the front, and some people not so much. Depending on how you're going to approach this event, it makes a difference. So you might want to track behind someone who's a fast runner, but maybe you don't want to blow your legs in the first run, and so maybe it's just like whatever, I'll stay in the third row and then it's fine. I'll hit the water in 7 minutes, and then the race starts. But
so they don't tell you guys where to stand.
No. It's not dependent on your ranking or anything like
So
that.
if you wanted to stand where Josh Bridges was standing, you could just walk over there and kind of just like elbow him out of the way?
Yeah, he probably wouldn't love it. But that's what I mean. Like if you look at who people are in front of too, like if you're a wily veteran like Josh, and you go find some rookie and just like stand in front of him, like odds that he's gonna say, "Hey, fuck off and get out of my way," pretty low. So you can pick your battles a little bit with who you wanna stand beside and who you wanna jostle with. But
I mean, I'm pretty sure Josh is where he is for a reason.
Oh,
He went and found like the meanest dog in the fight and stood next to him.
where are you, Patrick? I don't see you.
right there.
Oh, man, your hair's looking awfully blonde in that shot.
And blend in with the
Summer,
with the
man.
pillar back there.
I
Oh yeah,
know.
that is light. Wow.
Me and James Newbury, Moontan.
And they say 3, 2, 1, go.
Something like that, or standby beep.
Yeah, and then can we see that? And then you're off.
I look like I'm distracted.
You look like you're doing something else. Yeah.
Super duper focused.
What are we doing again?
Neuroanatomy. I think I just saw you.
Are you happy with that pace right there?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a reasonably good runner, particularly at that point in the summer, and I'm not the strongest swimmer. I've I've gotten much better in the last couple of years, but in this event, I viewed it as like, okay, I can try to make up ground in the run, at least hit the water in front of a bunch of the stronger swimmers and make them swim around you, make them work a little extra harder, and then try to catch people on the second run. And I just I ran too fast fully. Like I got sucked in. I ran actually like okay, but I needed to swim slower for the first even half of the swim. And I just got caught racing. I was in the water for like a minute, and then I was like, screw it, it's a race, like go. And then I was like halfway through the swim and both my legs cramped up. And then it was like, okay, it changed from a race to like survival for a little bit. And it was hard to run on the way out because I just was all cramped up, and it was fun. We ran fast. Like there's no doubt we ran fast.
Is this your worst finish in games?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I ran beside Josh for actually like the second half of the run, and he was the same boat as I was. Like he was actually more hurt by the run than I was, but better in the water than I was. And he would have finished like around 30.
I think the best strategy for these types of events is just get out in front and hang on.
But that's what I mean. That's like what I kind of thought. And I started racing too early.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I made a bad decision in the water, and it costs you. Like in the water, that's what happens. Like things go from bad to worse really fast. And then if you have less experience in that kind of a scenario, you just don't know how to react appropriately.
Yeah. I like that term. I got caught racing.
Yeah, 100%. And that, like, to me, that's not what I need to do here. And this is the second time it's happened to me in competition before, where like it was an event that like I didn't need to win, I didn't need to whatever. I was excited because I'd improved my swimming a ton, and I did poorly in the swim event last year. And I was like, well, this is a good opportunity to show like my improvement. I was like, sweet. Like instead of saying, you know what, I'll improve from like a 30th to a 20th, I was like, fuck it. Like I'm gonna try to like finish top 10, and just got like greedy and just I raced the wrong race. Like it was just for no reason. I made a really bad decision on the first event, and I mean it cost me too because like I cramped up my legs and they hurt me for the next 2-3 events.
I mean, how much swimming do you do during the year?
I swim once a week.
See, I don't think that's very much.
It's enough to stay. I mean, for this time of year, I think it's enough. For once, maybe you're in May and you want to start gearing up for the games.
So
do a little bit more.
So you think that you think three things I want to talk about. I want to talk about how great the women did compared to the men in this, and how this fits in just sort of your whole thought about the Open as being sort of metabolic and endurance related. Because here in this competition, the men and the women are paired quite nicely, right? I've even heard some arguments that Fikowski didn't win because they weren't wearing chips in the distance that
started behind.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue that if they started together, he would have just ran a little faster at the end.
Good point. Good way to defend your countrymen.
That? Yeah.
And then the other thing is, if you had to redo it, are you saying that you would have just run slower and risk taking 40th place, like that to come out healthy?
Slower, it doesn't risk 40th place. Like I think that had I run a minute slower on the run, I would have swam 3 minutes faster.
Oh shit, like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it was just like, and with a different kind of headspace, it would have been.
I wonder who the last male is who came in. The
like
last male
finish.
who entered the water.
Oh, I don't know.
And I wonder if he beat you.
I think it was easy.
He was the last male to enter the water. He was the slowest runner.
I think he might have been.
Did you beat him?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
I didn't even like look at these standings ever. I knew I finished 36th, and I was like, sweet.
This is the first time I've watched it since the games too.
Is the games
not the funnest footage to watch?
Is the games more fun doing them, or is it more fun the thought of doing them?
Interesting question. There's me running beside Josh.
I really like Josh. Good dude.
I don't know, actually. It's a good question because, I mean, certain events are super fun. And some of my favorite CrossFit events I've ever done are games events because you can't replicate those scenarios. And it's exciting and you have a spectacle around and they are cool. But they suck mostly. By and large, you're never going to walk out of one feeling great. But we always look back fondly on it saying like, and like the struggle was worth it in the end. You can look back and say like, you know what, it wasn't that bad. But I'll tell you what, in the moment, it was pretty bad. So it's tough to say. You kind of...
Are you better at CrossFit than you ever were at gymnastics?
Probably. I mean, relative to other people, yeah.
Right. Is this the biggest stage you've performed on?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's an international stage. So yeah.
And that just must be like just exhilarating as opposed to just being at a college meet.
It's I don't know. I
doing
feel like
gymnastics.
I don't think about it that way though.
Okay, how do you think
I'm
about
very
it?
much a task at hand kind of person. Like I'm not thinking about the other people around and whatever. And I mean, even it's fun to try to take it in at the end of an event, but oftentimes you kind of just I'm focused on the next step and the next step and the next step. And yeah, I don't know. You don't really notice it that, or I don't personally notice it that much. So
Tell me about your first CrossFit workout. Tell me about the hours leading up to it and what year it was and what you did and who
my
you did it
first
with.
CrossFit workout period.
Yeah,
I couldn't even tell you what it was.
you can't.
No.
Can you tell me about that day? How did you get?
No.
You don't even know how you got into it.
Well, I know that I started doing it because I met some friends at school in Montreal, and I was just like at the school gym working out because I knew I should. It's good for me. And they were doing. They
Your gymnastics career was over.
yeah.
Okay.
I had finished gymnastics a couple years prior, but they had hung rings in the school gym.
Did you ever make any money doing gymnastics?
No.
Okay.
So they had hung rings in the school gym, and I just sort of looked at them and was like, "Oh." Chatted to him, said like, "Hey, do you mind if I play around on the rings?" Like I was a gymnast for a while, and like did some cool, like just did some like strength elements. that I
Did you
hadn't
know
done
the
in a long
guys you were
time.
talking to?
I'd met them briefly before, but
Okay.
never really chatted with them much. And
They
then-
just happened to be in the gym. You happened to be in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we kind of got chatting, and like they were good dudes. So we're generally in the gym at the same time. So I just started working out with them as opposed to by myself. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what I started with, but I had to start learning how to Olympic lift and whatever, and they kind of helped me with that.
So one day you're in there,
Off.
you're doing your thing, they're doing their thing, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing. It's gonna be 7 muscle ups, 7 burpees, 400-meter run, 3 rounds. You want to do it?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm in."
Yeah, basically.
So what was it?
I honestly don't know.
And then so you started doing them, and then you must have had. Then you went to the website, or like what was the next?
Not really. Like I was not very engaged in it to begin with.
Okay, help me out here.
So what did you
Get
like?
this story.
What
Get
did you
this
like?
story going here, Patrick. Help
Okay,
me out
so
here.
I obviously in gymnastics, most of the conditioning I ever did was like circuit kind of based. Like go over and do like 30 seconds as many pull-ups as you can do, like 30 seconds as many dips as you can do, like go do a bunch of leg raises, go do a bunch of rope climbs, like, and then you kind of cycle through.
So
that,
you're made for
however.
this. You had a foundation.
You had some sort of familiarity
that's-
with intensity.
That was generally how I was training at the school gym as well. So we were doing like the same kind of stuff, and it was just one day it's like, do you have any ideas? Like we'll do something together. I was like, sure. We just threw something together and did it. And they would follow some main site stuff, generally just like I cherry pick from various different sources, I think. And then just we would do workouts together. And obviously I had a good gymnastics foundation, so I helped them with some stuff like that. They helped me learn how to Olympic lift, and yeah, like I don't know, we just sort of
What was the first Olympic lift you did?
clean probably.
And you had never done one of those before?
Maybe jerking actually, like learning like just like push press, push jerk progression.
And one of the guys just there, your random friends at the your gym buddies taught you that?
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, dude, stop pressing. You can push press." And you're like, "What the fuck is that?" And he showed you. And then he's like, "And you can push jerk." And he showed you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this is
13.
So 5 years ago. So 4 years after you started doing CrossFit, you went to the CrossFit Games.
3 years.
3 years.
Because I went in 2015 on a team.
Holy crap!
But yeah, just
Is
sort
that
of like,
real? That's you doing a pistol on a bar?
Yeah.
What's stopping the bar from rolling away?
I don't know, balance.
Because that bar can roll 2 ways. The bar can actually roll and the weights can roll, right?
Yeah.
And you stood up?
Yeah.
Let's see the video.
It's not a video, but
It's a picture.
Of course it's
Oh.
a picture.
we'll do it for you later.
You can still do that? You have that in your repertoire?
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't tried since then.
So you then you're at the gym doing it with these random guys. You're doing CrossFit, and when does it elevate to the next level? When do you go into an affiliate? When do you do
They
the
had
open?
been doing it for a while, so
Mhm.
I started kind of working out with them December, January kind of thing, and then the open was coming up, and so they just kind of like, oh, we're gonna do the open, you should do it. I was like, sure, and got my ass kicked.
Don't you have to say what affiliate you go to register for the open?
No, you can register unaffiliated.
And then you just send in videos.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I have videos probably still up that are from this gym, like filmed in this gym.
Oh, that's your college gym right there.
Yeah, that's McGill University gym.
Okay.
But I did the 2013 Open and just got hammered, and then that year, 2013 to 2014, we just kept kind of working out together. Just did whatever. I had to build a lot of strength and like learn how to weightlift. Gymnastics was no problem, but did a bunch of work on that.
Like,
and
was
just-
a 135 squat hard for you?
Yeah, I'd say probably when I just started weightlifting, like 185 back squat was like not easy. I could do 5 reps probably.
13.1.
And now what can you do 5 reps with?
Like 405 at least, probably.
So you've doubled.
Yeah.
Your back 5 rep back squat, more than doubled.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But I mean, it takes time. Like, what's this 5 years later? Like,
Mhm.
I don't think that's an exceptional accomplishment.
Right,
in 5
because in
years,
the
right?
first year you probably put on 100 pounds, and then everything starts slowing down, right?
Yeah, exactly. You plateau and stuff. So it anyway.
Oh, did you see that? That was yeah, that was some computer science dorkery right there.
It
That's
doesn't
amazing.
even look like you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's me like less 50 pounds. Probably.
How tall are you?
5'11", 5'10", 5'11"-ish, 5'10" and a half.
So you were giant for a gymnast.
Yeah. I was tall for a gymnast.
And tell me about the shirt this guy's wearing. Is that
That's my older brother,
I'm
actually.
more intrigued
That
by
is?
shorts.
Yeah.
this is the Cirque du Soleil guy?
Mhm.
Oh, tell me about that.
Not much to tell. He's a really, really good acrobat.
How does he end up being on Cirque du Soleil?
He's actually a pretty impressive story. So he was a gymnast as well. He was a trampolinist, whereas I did like bars and rings and all that stuff. It's called men's artistic gymnastics. He did trampoline and was great. Like he won a silver medal at Worlds one year, and he retired in like 2005. And that was when it was coming up that Vancouver was hosting the Winter Olympics, and there was like this Own the Podium program where they were trying to recruit athletes to various sports to try to push to win more medals in Vancouver. And so he got recruited to the freestyle ski program to do aerial skiing, which is effectively you're skiing and hitting one big jump and doing one big trick and landing, and that's it. It's like you do like a triple flip with whatever twists. And they kind of figured, hey, you can already do all the flips. Like, we'll just strap some skis on you, no problem.
Wow.
And Bob's your uncle. So he got recruited to that, and he
How old was he?
he would have been what, 05? He would have been like, I don't know, 19, 20.
So that's
18,
exciting. Someone's just trying to recruit you into the Olympics.
So he
Okay.
skied on the national team and like the development team for a while, skied on the national team for years, probably, I'd say like 5, 6, 7 years. I don't remember exactly, but got hurt a fair amount. Like, they're jumping from pretty high and falling pretty hard, and he crashed a few times. Got a bad concussion one year. Was out for a year, basically. Shattered his shoulder blade one time. Like, eventually just decided he was done, and he and his girlfriend got pregnant, so he just retired from skiing, moved home.
JOB time.
Yeah, and he was sort of like, all right. So he worked a job for, I don't even know, like a year. And he had always, when he was in gymnastics, wanted to go into circus, and it was sort of like more his style. He's a very creative, kind of artistic guy. So that's what his vision was before he got into cross-country aerial skiing. And he did work for like a year, and then decided, you know what, like, it's not too late for me to try to do this circus thing. So he dropped all that, and he joined some touring shows and got some experience, and then applied at Cirque du Soleil.
He has a very supportive wife.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell you that right now.
So he went and got recruited, and then got placed on a show in Vegas, and he's been working there for a number of years.
And he moved the wife and kids there.
Yeah.
And he did that. Is he American citizen?
I don't know, actually. I don't think so. I don't think he is yet.
And have you been to Cirque du Soleil and seen him perform?
Yeah, we've gone. I've seen his show a couple times. We actually went, Maciel, my girlfriend, and I went last year, right at the end of the Open. I did the last Open workout in Vegas, and we visited them, and then we went and hiked in Zion, where that hiking picture was. Watched a few shows in Vegas,
And you're an
holiday.
uncle.
Yeah. I have a nice niece.
And how old is she?
I guess she's like 4.
What's the career trajectory for Cirque du Soleil?
It depends what you do.
Not trapezist. What is he?
So he's
Aerial.
just an acrobat right now,
Mhm.
but it's theater, right? So there's different roles you can have. You can be an acrobat, you can be like a story character, you can be whatever, and based on what your job description is, basically you get a different salary and different responsibilities and different whatever. So he's been just an acrobat for a number of years, and he's been kind of trying to learn a bunch of different acts so he can integrate himself more in the show. And then they sort of do this show every year called One Drop, which is they get artists from all different shows, and they do kind of like an all-star cast, and they put on a big show for like 2 nights only. They just build it from scratch, and then it's for a big fundraiser, and then it dismantles and it's done. And he did it last year, and they liked him, so he got a chance to do it again this year and got offered a character role, which is like a big deal.
Badass.
So now it like sort of technically changes his job title to like character role, whatever. So he's is this the One Drop trailer?
What's
2017?
What's the current Cirque du Soleil production right now?
That he's in?
Yeah, doesn't they just have one that they tour around with?
They have touring shows, they have stationary shows, like they've got tons of stuff. So he works on Mystère, which is one of the original ones in Vegas, and it's at Treasure Island. So yeah, he's been there for a few years, and I know some people pop in every now and then, and he'll get come see his shows. I think Carroll went actually after the games, was there with her
free tickets
husband.
For her?
I put her in touch with him, and I think he got her some tickets. But
what a gentleman!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Can you do that?
That? No.
Yeah.
I think it would be painful for everyone involved to watch me try to do that.
What was the last thing Ricky Garard said to you, like ever? Do you know? The last interaction you had with him?
I don't know. I mean, I probably just congratulated him at the games. I haven't had any interaction with him since the games.
So it was in Madison.
Yeah.
You saw him on the podium. Did you stay for the award ceremony?
Yep.
And you saw him up there. Did you think at all when they're up there, one of the motherfuckers is cheating? No. You probably, was it more like, fuck, man, I should have pushed harder on XYZ so I could be up there?
Yeah, well, it's sort of I think you make yourself crazy looking for every potential area you could have gained or lost points at the games. There's so many decisions that get made over the course of 5 days that can go well or go wrong. So it's sort of
come on, don't tell me you don't do that.
No, I mean, when something goes poorly, I reflect on it quickly, but you don't dwell on it. Like, I can't sit there and say, like, oh, well, you know what? Like, what if I hit this thing? Things would have been different. Like, they weren't. That's the way it ended, and that's the way it is.
When the final event happened, Noah was just sitting there, and there, I forget what was going on, but all the other athletes had left the field, and I think they were interviewing Matt or whoever, and Noah's just sitting there, and I could tell he's just like just stunned that it's over, and he didn't do as well as he wanted.
He did the best he ever did.
Good point. He didn't know that at the time, though, did he?
There's a couple ways to look at it. I'm sure he did. The best he ever did before that was 8th.
Oh, okay.
And he was sitting in 5th, I think, going into the last event. And he did well in the last event. Finished top 10. So
are you how many points were you behind Ricky?
Like 30, maybe, something like that.
And is that a lot?
Yeah, it's a fair amount,
yeah.
That's the difference in one event. That's the difference of like 10 places.
More than that, probably.
Yeah, well, it depends on how they break it down. If it's a typical like 5 point spread,
like if I won it and then he was 10th, maybe, but I think it's more than that. But I mean, you look at it, and what my point being, like, I don't finish an event and make excuses as my first reaction and my first instinct. Like that's useless. If that's the way you deal with any of your shortcomings, like, it's going to be a long life. So you have to look at what happened and decide, okay, like what happened? Why did it happen? Like, is there something I can do to fix this for next time? Like, I missed my second snatch in the snatch event. Like, shoot, that sucks. What am I going to do, though? Like, all I can do is snatch a lot and try to make sure that I can hit that bar in the dark when I wake up first thing in the morning. By the time it's games next year, like, same thing. I need to make sure that if I'm in the water next year, I could get struck by fucking lightning and it won't matter. And, like, those are the things you have to think about. Like, it's not, I can't go back and say, like, well, you know what? Like, you can't go back and redo it. So you do get another chance, but it's next year. So
like, you didn't make any excuses and you didn't blame anyone.
No, it doesn't do anybody any good.
Right.
So,
well, it puts a Band-Aid on the ego a little bit.
Yeah, well, your ego's not that important, though.
It feels pretty good to be able to put blame on somebody else.
So he's up there. Ricky's up there. Matt's up there. And hold on, don't tell me who took second. Dan Bailey. No. Fuck. Who took second?
Where were you going with this? Men or women?
Who took second, man?
Brent.
Brent Fikowski. Sorry. Fuck. Goes my chances of having Brent on the show. So you got Matt Fraser, Brent Fikowski, and Ricky, and you're sitting up there looking at them, and are you thinking, I could have done that? I want to do that. I'm going to come back next year and get that.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't have a great games competition in 2017. There's a lot of areas where I missed. Like execution was lacking for whatever reason, and it just like you come up short. And it's a combination of things, and you can look at various different places where things didn't go your way. But it happened more often than it did the year before. I feel like in 2016, I had a really clean run. Didn't do anything super flashy, but it was just clean, and I did everything I needed to do and maximize my points when I could, and it ended well. So in 2017, that didn't happen. I frankly, like I said, I made mistakes more than I should have, and I finished in fourth. And to me, that's sports. Like it's not a representation of like yourself as a person. Like you have to sit there and be like, well, did I have like my best competition? No, and like finished in fourth. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's fine. Like those guys at the time watching the events, like watching Ricky come third, I was like, you know what? He nailed it. Guy like PRs his snatch in that event, like he just executed every event probably to the best he could and mitigated damage whenever it was an event he was bad at. So you know what I mean? Won a couple events and then like had a couple misses, but like made up for it and just executed well. And that I look at that and I'm like, that was me the year before, and that's fucking there you go. Fair enough. Take your third place. And same with Brent, like the guy, a lot of stuff he was like had the skills to be very good in 2017 and nailed it. Like when it comes down to it, like PR's his snatch, like wins the swim event and does like a bunch of the stuff that people know you can do, but you still have to step out and do it. And like he hit home runs like people know he can, and he just improved wildly on a bunch of things that people thought he might struggle on. So that's the sort of thing that I look at. And I'm like, that's what it takes to podium at the games. And anything less than that is just like, frankly, if you do podium and you've done less than that, you got lucky. So I look at it and I'm like, I probably didn't deserve it in that last year. And I just like, I did some good things, but I made some mistakes.
Do you have that medal now?
I have a medal.
You don't have that one that's actually hanging around his neck?
No.
Do you know that for a fact? You know that he didn't send it back and then they repackaged it and sent it to you?
Yeah, they made a new one.
How do you know that? They told you?
Yeah.
Who's they? Dave?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I think he should send that one back.
Yeah, a lot of people would agree with you.
Frankly, I wouldn't want it if I was him.
That's what I was gonna say.
You wouldn't want that one?
Well,
No.
What do you think when you look at it now? What does that mean to you?
His?
Yeah, like him when he wakes up every day and looks at his medal. Like, what does he think?
Oh, if I was him, I wouldn't want it. I'd have sent the shit back.
That's what I mean.
That's what we just
Matt
said,
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then why doesn't he? But would you have taken that one if they're like, hey, we're not making a new one. We're waiting for Ricky to send his back.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I would have.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. So that's where we miscommunicated. I thought you were saying you wouldn't want that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
No, yeah.
And I would fucking think that would be super cool of Ricky. Ricky, if you want to send that one back, you can.
These two. Matt wants that, and I wouldn't mind that one.
Ricky, you can send those to me, and I'll make sure they get to you and Matt. Or Ricky will bring you out and have you on the podcast, and just bring them when you come out.
Yeah, maybe.
So then the games are over, and you go home, fourth place. And what is the prize money for third place?
For third?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 75,000, something like that.
And how many days later? Tell us how you find out. How do you find out that you got $70,000? And don't act so fucking casual about it.
I mean taxes and stuff. But
right, 35,000. Sorry,
you got to move to Cookeville.
Oh God, the taxes are atrocious, huh? Is it even worse because
so
you're in Canada?
Fourth, you still get prize money, right? So I didn't bonus that much, but I found out at the same time everybody else found out about the whole scandal. So it would have been October something. I don't know exactly when, but yeah, I actually was doing work at home, and then it was Matt Fraser texted me first and said congratulations, and I sent him a text back saying like, yeah, you too. I don't know what we're talking about, but
dude, this is like
I thought you were just like I thought he was just planting the seed, like wanted me I hadn't congratulated him properly yet, and he wanted me to send him a congratulations. I was like, yeah, Matt, I got it. You won again. Good. But and he says, no, like Ricky just popped, and I said like no way, and a couple people texted me, and I had like my phone started going nuts. But yeah, it was like 10 p.m. I was at home just kind of doing some schoolwork in the kitchen. But
And did you think, right? What was your first thought? Yeah, I could use the fucking money.
no, I thought that sucks.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not a cool situation. Like it's unfortunate for everybody involved. It doesn't do. There's no real benefactor of that whole scenario. Like all the athletes get over scrutinized and thrown under the bus.
more
now.
people think you do steroids now than ever before.
Probably,
Right,
and along with every other athlete who's at the games,
right.
and
Definitely everyone who beat him.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, you know what I mean? It's unfair because now everyone's just guilty until proven innocent.
Right.
And even like you can produce your test results and everyone says, oh, like I didn't see it. Like, I don't know. They faked it. This is that. Like it provided a lot of ammunition for the conspiracy theorists and the people who want to say it's very, very widespread in the sport.
Do you have Ricky's phone number?
No.
Does he have your phone number?
I wouldn't know. I haven't given it to him.
Have you ever emailed with him? I guess what I'm getting at. Let me stop beating around
We're
the
not
bush.
pen pals.
Could he contact you? Has he ever contacted you?
No.
He hasn't said like, "Hey, I want to say I'm really sorry about that. It's fucked. See you in 4 years."
Yeah, no, he hasn't.
No.
Well, I mean, if he's apologized to Pat, he's got to apologize to everybody.
I don't know. If I was him, I'd apologize to you.
I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't.
Easy to say, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to take that angle and think what I would do in that situation. Probably be recluse. I wouldn't say.
I'd
shit.
do that too. I would be. Well,
I mean, it's hypothetical, right?
It's
I mean,
tough. Yeah, it's
I
a
have
tough
no idea.
situation. I certainly don't envy his situation. But
have you ever
made his
taken any
bed.
steroids?
No.
Any performance enhancing drugs?
What does it look like?
You're yoked. As a gymnast, you didn't ever take performance enhancing drugs to give yourself the edge.
No,
Why not?
because I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's hugely prevalent in gymnastics, particularly not like I wasn't an international level gymnast, and Canada also the programs aren't ridiculous. Like we don't have collegiate programs or things like that for gymnastics, so it just wasn't a big thing.
Do you know anything about performance enhancing drugs? Do you know what you would take?
Very, very little.
If I told you you had 10 minutes to go into the pharmacy and pick some, would you have any idea what to do?
Oh no, I'd spend the entire time on Google.
You don't know any of them, like
No.
like Winstrol, is that one?
I would assume anything that ended in all, I'd be like, okay, that's a candidate.
Add that.
Like I don't,
Dynabol, you don't know any of those.
not really.
Not
no.
dying, I've heard of that.
Do you
before.
take creatine?
Not even really.
Dude, you say it's creatine.
You don't like
I
creatine?
say it like 5 times a day. It's like.
So you don't take creatine?
Creatine. No, not. I do sometimes, depending on the point in the season. My nutritionist also does my supplementation periodization, so she'll add that in occasionally.
Do you have a supplement sponsor?
I do.
Don't you have to say you take it?
Why? I don't. I just don't. I don't think I have to take. I don't have to say I take anything I don't take. I don't think that's part of the deal.
So what do you take? Who's your sponsor and what do you take that they make?
Food Spring is the name of them, and I take like protein and aminos and like omegas and zinc magnesium complexes and things. They're like supplement and health food, so they make like oatmeal, their own steel cut oatmeal, things like that, and then I get off on organic peanut butter, but I don't actually supplement a ton. I do try to do more whole food nutrition if I can. Depends on the time of year.
It's very CrossFit of you. You should take your L1.
Yeah,
Like I said, it sounds like I already know everything. So.
You might.
What about fish oil? Take fish oil?
Omegas are generally fish oils. Omega-3s.
okay.
When you're smart, you say omegas.
Yeah, it
when you're
was
just a
way-
pedestrian like us,
Why do you have to be so
say-
condescending?
you say fish oil. Does it bother you that they call Fikowski the professor? Do you wish you had that nickname somewhere inside? Are you like, I'm fucking
I
smart.
think it's
I'm a little bit
funny.
smarter than him.
I think it's funny because I don't know where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's organized, and he's sort of like he has a persona like that. He's very meticulous and whatever. But it's funny. It's an old nickname that came when he was in Australia.
He doesn't really profess, does he?
No. And he's like he's an in-house accountant.
So
He doesn't even.
You think of yourself more as the professor than him?
No, you can be.
No, I don't think of myself as a professor. Like it doesn't.
You got to be the
mean
doctor.
anything to me. I heard somebody say that on the mic at the games, and it irritated me.
Oh,
It
you
was
didn't
like
like it?
while I was snatching my first lift, and I was like, "Whoa, that's a weird comment." to
Maybe
make."
we could do.
What
like
did they say that you're a doctor?
Doc, like Doc Vellner or something like that.
Ugh, I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
See if
I
it
think I'd
sticks.
get a lot of hate from the medical community,
DV.
but
Those are
anyway.
some nice. That's a nice outfit you guys have.
Thanks. Sharp, eh?
Yeah.
We matched the worm.
Pacelli's Canadian.
Yeah, she's from Ontario.
We hired this new girl, Megan. She works with Haynes, and she is like,
Yeah, she's a
her
identical-
cadence
like
of
a
the way she
doppelganger?
it's a trip.
Mm.
It's such a trip.
It's like from look to mannerisms to
If you needed
speech.
to move any big objects, flip tires or something.
Why do we see why did we see the California regional athletes choke so badly at the games?
Where did they all finish?
I don't know. Let's just say they choked. We know Josh did. We know Josh did poorly.
Let's just
We're
say.
just talking men's side, right?
We know Josh did. I mean, they were all. Yeah, right. Sorry, just the men's side. We know Josh did poorly. We know that all of them were in the
So it's Josh.
in the first heat, except
Jason,
for Garrett
Garrett.
Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh, Jason, Garrett, Jeff.
I think Garrett has a
Yeah.
little bit of a comeback
Holden.
towards the end. He rallied. Patzer,
Yeah,
Jeff
that's right,
Patzer.
Patzer, yeah.
and Holden Rethwell.
Is it just a weak region?
I don't know. I suppose one could argue because they've just amalgamated into the massive West California region, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. Like, I don't know where they stacked up in like the trans-regional comparison either, but like Josh would have done very well in that. I think probably Jason would have done fairly well as well, but it just depends. Like things
Jason
can happen in
who?
the games. Carroll.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Things can happen at the games, and I mean, momentum's a real thing. And if you get shook up really bad and you can't get your feet back under you, it can affect you for the course of 2-3 events.
And California also had that issue with Julian Alcaraz pulling out.
Yeah, so Holden was
Oh, that's
sixth
right.
place.
And who is the guy who tore his pec who looks like Weird Al Yankovic?
With the hair.
Yeah,
Lucero.
Lucero.
Yeah, there you go.
Lucero. So those are two guys that
Yeah.
were going,
So you're saying it's like 6th and 7th place one.
or 8th. If you do my math, 5, take out 2, that's 6, 7. Yeah, 8th place went. Right?
No, 7th.
No, 8th.
Where did you get the eighth?
Because 6th and 7th. Julian.
Yeah.
No, it was fifth and sixth backed out. No, fourth
No,
and fifth.
only 4th backed out.
Julian Alvarez.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
And Christian Lucero.
no, he
So
he
Julian
didn't-
backing out would have put 6th then.
yeah.
Oh.
Lucero
Five
getting
thought
hurt
you
would
were
have put
saying
7th.
Okay, see, you're smart. I'm telling you.
No, don't give him. Don't
This is
give
like
him that.
single digits
Why not?
math.
You're rolling over way too easily with a smart thing.
Why not? Okay, here we go.
See, one thing I noticed in some regions is there was a lot of
I mean, look who took 8th. Wes Piatt. He's an affiliate owner. He's just a normal CrossFitter. Just a normal handsome guy. Runs an affiliate.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of guys run affiliates who qualify for the games. The things that stick out to me are like 21st, 18th, and you finish 3rd.
Mm.
Like, that's not a tremendous stat. Like 2/3 and a second's awesome though. So I think depending on some regions,
Meaning
like,
telling you the region's shaky.
well, you could have one miss, but maybe that's it. But like if you have 2 misses, you might be out of the conversation in certain areas. But it just means that people were consistently making or having 1 miss.
Can we see Lucero's scores? Can you scroll down and see like how he did in those first 3?
Oh, he would have been 1st or 2nd in the first 4 events, I think.
Right. He was crushing.
He's all the
it.
way at the bottom.
There he is. 2nd, 1st,
5th.
5th.
Damn,
How many
only
withdrawals?
24 years
1,
old.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 withdrawals. Man, what a year. Oh, he didn't compete though.
Mm.
And Julian was that's another Julian. Wait,
Yeah, no, Julian finished the whole competition.
Yeah.
Alcaraz?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is he at the top
That
there?
was cool though. That was like
Yeah, he's still in the
good
top
for
5.
him.
You think so?
Yeah, good for him. That's cool. If your kid was being born, what would you do?
I do both. I just do both.
It's tough though.
Yeah, it is tough. Of course it's tough.
You can't give your full attention to that relationship and that means a lot, especially at that. Like that's a very special time and a vulnerable.
Do you think he
period.
is? Do you think he is bitter and resentful now until the day he dies of his kid
I
and his
hope not.
wife? Oh, okay, good. Me too.
Those are decisions. Like you made a good decision, like Dad of the Year.
We'll see about that. I think that's a little too early to call that dad of the year.
Are you trying to claim that?
Oh, dude, dad of the fucking decade.
But I don't know. To get back to your question, I'm not sure. At the games,
I mean, it's had a lot of.
I mean, it looked like this is 3 rookies, which like can make a bit of a difference.
Josh said he had explosive diarrhea at the games.
Yeah, after the swim, a few people did at the games actually. Swallowed a bunch of that lake water. Didn't do him any favors.
I mean, I think the regional as a whole, it's lost some of its bigger names throughout the years.
Yeah,
like Dan, Kenny Leverage wasn't there. Like it's just the primary character.
well, I mean, it's the birthplace, but things have spread out a ton, right? Like it's taken roots so many places. Like look at Europe's getting so strong, and Canada is killing it.
It's still
Oh my God,
it's
Canada's
still the
amazing.
coolest venue for a regional. Though.
It is weird.
It is cool. The open air venue at Del Mar is awesome. It looks sweet.
It
Is
is
that where
amazing.
they're doing the big regional?
I don't. Is
think
it?
Say that again?
Is that where
Is
they're
it still at
yeah.
It's still at
It's
Del
the best
Mar.
venue.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's amazing for not traditional reasons.
Yeah.
But it is, the lighting there is amazing. The traversing the landscape there. What are the people who sell you shit? The vendors. It's good. It's really, really, and the weather's perfect. I think that's I think we covered all the hot topics. Is there any last question that you want to ask him, Matt? Do you want to ask him about his self-esteem?
How is your self-esteem doing?
Is your humility fake?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
My
That's
self-esteem.
actually, I have that in
Oh no way! Really? Come on.
Ask him about his fake humility.
You know, it's I've heard it kicked around a few times, and I'm not sure you really acknowledge it. But is your humility, is that genuine, or is it just a front?
Full front.
I
It allows me to infiltrate places.
I asked because of this. You are very, very humble. You're obviously very smart, but also because gymnasts are notorious for having not lacking self-confidence.
Thanks for the like. For not lacking self-confidence.
Yeah.
How so? I don't know. How many gymnasts do you know?
A handful. They just seem to be on this other.
Do you want to say arrogant and condescending?
Really?
Is what you want to say?
Yes.
I don't know.
Was your gym squad like that?
I don't know. I don't think so. The thing is, where I grew up and did gymnastics was like my hometown is a hockey factory. Like no one was in gymnastics, so it's not like it was the coolest thing to do, and you could walk around and puff your chest at people. Like everyone played hockey, so no one really gave a shit about you.
Right.
It was something different, so you had that. You did something different than everybody else, but it wasn't just like, I don't know, there was only like me and one other guy that was kind of my age group that did it in town. So I don't know, it wasn't
your posture is dramatically better now that you're a CrossFitter than when you were just gymnast. When we were looking at that old footage of you in 2013, you're kind of like shoulders forward, you're a little wispy in the
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
Yeah, it's because I've done so much pulling now, like straight back sort of stuff. Like all the pulling you do in weightlifting, everything, it's all back, whereas everything in gymnastics is all lat.
You're more gorilla now.
More gorilla? I feel like before the internal would be more gorilla.
Oh, that.
Yeah. I mean, imagine how much more upright your posture would be if you got to an L1 and actually learned how to do it properly.
Yeah, who knows?
All right.
How long has this been going on, this nonsense?
Hour.
1 hour.
Yes.
Time to land the plane.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
No problem.
I think we covered a lot.
We did.
Cool.
You think I'm going to go over all the shit I didn't cover? You're always waiting for me
No,
to do
I'm
that?
not. I just, if we got the little things, you got your shtick, you say. I've started saying land the plane, Eric.
Are you excited to hear the Brooke Ence podcast?
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
You've piqued my interest. I'm
You don't have
looking
time to
forward
listen to podcasts.
I listen to the odd one now and then.
You
yeah.
shouldn't. You don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, it's multitasking. I'll do it while I'm like doing my laundry or doing my dishes.
No, you don't have time for that.
No, okay.
I
I'll make sure I don't listen.
I listened to a podcast in the shower today.
You did?
Man, it was
go.
different. And then here at
Long
office,
shower.
office.
Who'd
Yeah.
you listen to?
Pardon my take.
Pardon? Okay.
Like, how long was it?
Hey,
It's an hour long, but it's like 10 minutes of it.
have any women sent you solicitations in your DMs?
No. I mean,
Yes.
occasionally I get like hearts or things like that, but no real solicitations.
Nothing like, hey, I live in Canada. I'm single. I'll blow you on the weekends.
No, nothing like that.
No?
That would be something.
Yeah. All right.
I haven't attained that level of celebrity yet.
Okay.
Perhaps one day.
No way. I refuse to believe it.
No, I don't know. Maybe it's just my Canadianness.
119,000 followers, not one is giving you a DM. For
Have
a
you
little-
gotten a DM for a...
Not that I know of.
What do you mean, not that you know of?
I'm peeing. Bye. Thank you.